Okay, get this. Imagine a paid online course that uses the exact same password for every single user. It sounds absolutely insane, right? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today, a pretty radical experiment called the shared key model.
In this quote right here, it's the perfect way to kick things off. It really gets to the heart of the shared key model. The whole idea is that the biggest breakthroughs don't always come from adding more features, but from stripping away something we all just assumed had to be there.
So that brings up this really central question. We almost always assume cost is the #1 hurdle for online education. But what if it's not? What if it's actually all those little annoying steps, creating an account, trying to remember a password, pulling out your credit card, that stop people cold before they even get started?
To really get the solution, we first have to understand the problem. And the creator of this model has a great name for it, the unnecessary lock. It's all that friction that just gets in the way of people trying to learn something. So the person behind this whole experiment, Sanjay Bhargava, well, this isn't his first time thinking this way. Way back in the early 2000s, he invented something called penny drop verification. It completely got rid of the old, slow process of mailing in voided checks. It was such a simple idea, just removing friction, and it ended up becoming an industry standard.
So, let's fast forward to today. On his new financial education platforms, Befikar.ai and Zfinx.ai, he started hearing the same exact feedback over and over again. The very people who needed the content the most found the whole process of just getting in to be a huge obstacle. The price was low, sure, but the friction was way too high.
All that frustration led him to a solution that, honestly, most people in the tech world would call completely nuts. A single key to unlock the entire platform for literally everyone.
Now look, this is not a hypothetical. What you're seeing on screen, those are the actual live credentials. You could go to that site right now, type in that exact email and password, and get full access to everything. No sign up, no payment, absolutely zero friction.
After he saw that this ridiculously simple fix was actually working, he realized it was way more than just a clever hack. It was a pattern, something that could be repeated, a simple framework he's now calling the shared key model.
And the model itself is just beautifully simple. It's really built on just 3 core pillars. First, you've got that one shared login we just saw. Second, you track how it's being used, but anonymously, so you can measure your impact without getting creepy. And third, you have a clear, totally optional way for people to pay if they want extra features.
Now this is the really crucial part. This is not just a giveaway. The free experience gives you all the core content, no strings attached. But the paid tier adds real personal value on top of that. So you're not paying to unlock the information, you're paying for things like a personal dashboard or direct support. It's a model built on trust, not on holding your content hostage.
Okay, so you might be thinking, this is cool, but how could I actually use this? Well, this next section is basically a blueprint for anyone who's inspired by this idea.
This is super helpful. It lays out exactly where this model really shines and where it's a terrible idea. It's pretty much perfect for educational content, where your main goal is just getting it to as many people as possible. But yeah, you'd want to avoid it if you're handling sensitive data or if your platform relies on a lot of user customization or social features.
But here's the thing, the technology is only half the story. The real magic happens with something called the human bridge. Think about it. A social worker or a family member can use the shared login on someone else's phone just one time, save the bookmark, and boom, that person now has permanent one-click access. It's such a powerful way to get around that digital literacy gap.
And if you're thinking of trying this, the steps are incredibly straightforward. First, you create that shared login. Second, set up something free like Google Analytics to track anonymous data. Third, design that paid tier with some really valuable add-ons. And finally, don't even worry about protecting the login unless it actually becomes a problem. Just start open. The barrier to entry here isn't money, it's curiosity.
So this isn't being sold as some proven, guaranteed success. It's being presented as an open experiment. And, a key part of any good experiment is knowing how to actually measure the results.
This model really asks us to rethink what success even looks like. So instead of chasing those vanity metrics like total user counts, which can easily be faked by bots, we should be focusing on what shows real impact. Are people actually coming back? Are they spending quality time with the content? Are you reaching new places you couldn't before?
And to make that super concrete, the experiment sets a really clear target, a return visitor rate of over 20%.
That one number tells you if your content is actually valuable enough for people to make the conscious choice to come back for more.
This is where the idea gets so exciting. Just think about all the possible applications, right? Health clinics sharing vital guides, legal aid groups getting rights info out there, climate educators teaching complex science. I mean, any mission-driven organization could potentially use this to get information into the hands of as many people as possible.
So we'll end with this question for you. If your whole mission is about including more people in the digital world, what's the single biggest, simplest piece of friction you could remove? Because as this whole experiment suggests, sometimes the key to unlocking access for millions isn't some complex new technology, but just the simple act of taking away a lock that never really needed to be there in the first place.